Shall we try again? What I said was it was 8:30, but I think it carried on recording. About 55 seconds, I believe. But here it was just like all grey. I couldn't even see like my face. I could see like my silhouette. Is that the right way to say it? It's ever so bright in here. I feel like this is where we come to learn. We come to become brighter. I got some books. I felt like reading from some books. Mixing it up a little bit. Cynthia's kind of drawn me to this when she says like she missed story time. I've got my Care A Lot bear. Care A Lot Care Bear. You know it's an official Care Bear when it's got a love heart on its bottom. Anyway, Care A Lot bear. And I've also got my Valentine bear, but I've not assembled him yet. It will all come in, you know it will. I need to crack on with that at some point. Oh look, there's one that you can get for Easter as well. The Easter bunny. Okay, right, it looks like this connection is stable. I've got the Tarot Grand Lux because I feel we shall pull a card from here and then I'm going to choose a book to read from. I just felt drawn to come on and do another live whilst I'm waiting for my dinner to be cooked. Let's learn. It's like, let's learn some more. Okay, I've got the card. Thank you. The Sun card. This takes me to like the Golden Child. I don't actually know what the film's called. Is it called The Golden Child? Has it got Eddie Murphy in it? Anyway, that's what come to mind. The Sun energy. Okay, I feel drawn to have a look at this this book that's on top here. Ask and it is given. Esther and Jerry Hicks. Learning to manifest the law of attraction. The Sun card. The teachings of Abraham. Chapter 22. That straight away takes me to 11:11. Okay. We're going to talk about the different degrees of your emotional guidance scale. Right, let's tell you what the Sun is. It's the most positive card in the deck. It says you might say that different emotions have different vibrational frequencies, but a more accurate way to saying it would be your emotions are indicators of your vibrational frequency. When you remember that your emotions indicate your degree of alignment with source energy, and that the better you feel, the more you are allowing your alignment with the things you desire, then it is easier to understand how to respond to your emotions. Absolute alignment with your own source energy means that you know the following. Well, come on, Sun energy here. And this is actually the card of the Divine Masculines, well, being of hold on, I'm trying to, okay. Solar. Lunar for the Divine Feminines. Listen, it took a while to get there. But absolute alignment with your own source energy means that you know the following. Let's see what you know. You are free. You are powerful. You are good. You are love. You have value. You have purpose. And all is well. Should I repeat them? Absolute alignment with your own source energy means that you know the following. You are free. You are powerful. You are good. You are love. You have value. You have purpose. All is well. At any time that you are thinking thoughts that cause you to know your true nature, you are in alignment with who you really are. For this is the state of absolute alignment. All the way And the way those thoughts feel, in italics, you have to pay attention to this, and the way those thoughts feel is the ultimate emotion of connection. When you think in terms of a fuel gauge on a vehicle, this state of alignment will be the same as a full tank. In other words, imagine a gauge or scale with gradations or degrees which indicate the position of the fullest allowance of your connection with your source energy all the way to your emptiest, most resistant disallowance of your alignment with your source energy. A scale of your emotions would look something like this. Let me show you first. You can screenshot that if you want. Okay, the scale of your emotions would look something like this. Number 1, joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation. Number 2, passion. Number 3, enthusiasm, eagerness, happiness. Number 4, positive expectation, belief. Did you hear that beeping out there? So number 4, positive expectation and belief. Number 5, optimism. Number 6, hopefulness. Number 7, contentment. Number 8, boredom. Number 9, pessimism. Number 10, frustration, irritation, impatience. Number 11, overwhelmment. Number 12, disappointment. Number 13, doubt. Number 14, worry. Number 15, blame. Number 16, discouragement. Number 17, anger. Number 18, revenge. Number 19, hatred and rage. Number 20, jealousy. Number 21, insecurity, guilt, unworthiness. Number 22, fear, grief, depression, despair, powerlessness. Take note, there's 22 there. And this is chapter 22, isn't it? It sure is. Okay. Some dirt onto my nails there. That would just bother me. We have milk. We have coffee. We have some more to read. Since the same words are often used to mean different things, and different words are often used to mean the same things, these word labels for your emotions are not absolutely accurate for every person who feels the emotion. In fact, giving word labels to the emotions could cause confusion and distract you from the real purpose of your emotional guidance scale. The thing that matters most is that you consciously reach for a feeling that is improved. The word for the feeling is not important. Okay. The thing that matters most is that you consciously reach for a feeling that is improved. The word for the feeling is not important. An example of consciously moving up your emotional guidance scale. So something has happened in your experience that makes you feel terrible. Nothing sounds good. Nothing feels good. It seems as if you are suffocating, and each thought is equally painful. The best word to describe your nearly constant state of emotion is one of depression. If you could throw yourself into taking some action, you might feel better. If you could put what is bothering you out of your mind altogether and focus upon your work, you could feel better. There are many thoughts that you could entertain that could free you from your depression. However, vibrationally, you do not have access to most of them right now. But if your intention is to find a thought, any thought, that feels better, and you are consciously aware of how that thought feels, you can begin to move up the emotional guidance scale immediately. It is really a process of thinking a thought, any thought, and then consciously evaluating whether the new thought gives you a feeling of relief from where you were before that thought. So you think and feel with one intention only, to feel even the slightest bit of relief. Let us say that someone has said something that made you angry, or someone did not keep her word. As you focus upon this angry topic, you notice that you do feel some relief from your depression. In other words, in the midst of this angry thought, you are no longer having any trouble breathing. The feeling of claustrophobia has lifted and you do feel slightly better. Now here is the crucial step in effectively utilising your emotional guidance system. Stop and consciously acknowledge that your chosen thought of anger does feel better than the suffocating depression that it replaced. And in the conscious recognition of your improved vibration, your feeling of powerlessness softens, and you are now on your way up your emotional guidance scale back into full connection with who you really are. Why would anyone want to discourage my better feeling anger? Often from a very resistant vibration such as depression or fear, you will have already instinctively, even unconsciously, discovered the pain-relieving thought of anger. But there are so many who have convinced you that your anger is inappropriate. But of course, it's gone a bit dark now, just to the side there. Okay, but there are so many who have convinced you that your anger is inappropriate, but of course, they are not inside of you. So they cannot feel the improvement that the angry thought really is, that they often counsel you against your anger, only to leave you back in your former state of depression. But when you consciously know that you have chosen an angry thought and that it has brought you relief, then you can consciously know that you can move from the angry thought to a less resistant one, such as frustration, and then up the emotional guidance scale you go, right back into your full alignment. Why your slightest improvement is of such value. When you are consciously aware of where you are, and you also know where you would like to be, and you have a means of understanding whether or not you are pointed in the direction of where you want to be, then nothing can keep you there. The seeming lack of control of your life experience is mostly because you do not realise in which direction you are headed. Without a conscious realisation of your own emotions and what they mean, you often move away from where you really want to be. There are many words that are used to describe emotions, but there are really only two emotions. One feels good and one feels bad. And every incremental place along the emotional scale only indicates degrees of the allowance of the powerful, pure, positive source energy. The fullest state of connection, which feels like joy, love, appreciation, freedom, or knowledge, is really speaking to your own feeling. Are we back? 1441 on the counter, but it does look like, oh, it's just started moving again. Okay. Interesting, because I'm picking up like kind of on the, I don't know. And the fullest state of disconnection, which feels like despair, grief, fear, or depression, is really speaking to your own feeling of disempowerment. There is tremendous value when you are able to deliberately cause even the slightest improvement in the way you feel, for even in that small emotional improvement, you may have regained a measure of control. And even though you may not have fully exercised your control to bring yourself entirely back into full connection with your full power, you no longer feel powerless. And so, your trek back up the emotional scale is now not only possible, but it is relatively easy. Okay. The next part is only you know if choosing anger is appropriate for you. I'm not going to read any more from that though. Okay. Right. Let's pull another card. That's interesting. We can have 2 cards for this next book because it's by Serena J. Dyer and her dad, Dr. Wayne W. Dyer. Don't die with your music still in you. My experience growing up with spiritual parents. I'll read this part at the back here. In 2001, Dr. Wayne Dyer wrote a book called 10 Secrets for Success and Inner Peace, based on the most important principles he wanted his children to live by. Serena Dyer, one of those children, has contemplated these ideas throughout her life. Don't die with your music still in you has been the most important principle for Serena. To her, it means that you are dedicated to living the life you were born to live. In this book, Serena sets out to explain what it was like to grow up with spiritual parents. She touches upon all 10 of her dad's original secrets, imparting her own experiences with them and detailing how they have affected the way she approaches various situations in life. She shares stories, struggles and triumphs, and Wayne, in turn, contributes his own perspective. This unique father-daughter collaboration will warm the hearts of all parents and inspire anyone who is looking to find the music inside themselves. Okay. It's quite nice because I feel like these are spiritual parents. First of all, I felt the energy of this is what this masculine's wishing for. In a way, I suppose to be your children's like hero. I once found a comment by Emily, I can't remember the actual words, but it was more about who is like, well, your hero, and it was like my mum. And that was an amazing feeling. Anyway, like, and there was times, I'm not sure she does it now, but I do feel that she watches my videos, not all the time, but she will tune in. But this is my youngest daughter. But I would like find her like going through like my Facebook photos and yeah, lots of photos of her mummy. She loves her mummy. I know she loves her mummy. She was out yesterday and she went out like about 10:30 in the morning and I hadn't seen her. And then I don't know what time it was, but it was like later in the afternoon. And she just sent me this message saying like, do you miss me? Are you missing me? And I knew she was out, but I just sent back, but oh, are you out then? She's like, I've been out since 10:30. I said, I'm only joking. I said, always miss you, my baby. So, anyway, so we got the, practicing patience was coming through here. With a P. For practicing patience. And then this is the High Priestess energy here. But look how the horse is kind of charging in towards parenting. I feel has been on the cards about parenting. Let's have a flick through this book then. Don't die with your music still in you. Tell me when to say stop. Okay, because I can't hear you say stop. But you can tell me when to say stop. Ready? Stop. We can talk about positivity until the cows come home. But if we have constant thoughts of negativity, we will only find more negativity showing up in our lives. I was talking to my daughter about this today. Okay. In order to see things change, we have to change the way we think about things. As the Abraham Hicks teachings say, be. Well, we've just been to Abraham Hicks, haven't we? So interesting. So as the Abraham Hicks teachings say, stop telling it like it is and start telling it like you want it to be. Life isn't happening to you, it is responding to you. And the wonderful and inspirational Chris Carr says, you can't please everyone. When you're too focused on living up to other people's standards, you aren't spending enough time raising your own. Some people may whisper, complain and judge, but for the most part, it's all in your head. People care less about your actions than you think. Why? They have their own problems. Several years ago, my dad had the opportunity to perform the marriage between Portia de Rossi and Ellen DeGeneres. Is that how I know who they're talking about? Which was extremely exciting. In my eyes, it was one of the coolest things he has ever done. Weeks later, someone asked him at one of his talks if he was okay with that sort of thing, meaning gay marriage. Dad later told me that at one point he would have given this person an earful about how we are all God's children and it isn't our place to judge anyone for anything. But this time, he felt only love for the person who was so clearly not okay with that sort of thing. Dad said that he realised it was his own growth that allowed him to bring light rather than more darkness and condemnation. I can only hope I will eventually be able to bring the same in a consistent way because, as I said, right now, I'm about 50-50. This comes in with these cards, doesn't it? Wanting to be like the Divine Feminine here, practicing patience. But you get there. It's like you get there when you know where you want to be, who you want to be. Picking yourself up on them. I want to say like your emotional traits. Okay, let's carry on. Even though I sometimes felt embarrassed by my parents when I was a kid, and the lessons they instilled in me were sometimes painful, I could not be more grateful that I can't give away what I don't have. So I place my attention on cultivating the things I want to be given away: love, happiness, and understanding. And if you wonder whether that sleepover lecture stuck with me, I'm not sure what they're talking about, but we're not going to find out today, I don't think. And if you wonder whether that sleepover lecture stuck with me, the answer is yes, unless that's just meaning for someone. Well, you had a sleepover. Did you give a lecture? Well, okay. Recently, I heard someone judging another person for being a bully. And what popped into my mind? Oh, no way. Dad, we need to tell these people that an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Wayne's response: oh, we might find out about the sleepover. Well, who knows? The title of this chapter seems so obvious. You can't give away what you don't have. That's the title of the chapter. So the title of this chapter seems so obvious, and yet it is one of the most misunderstood of my 10 secrets for success and inner peace. I did tell you that this was Wayne's response. Okay. His like writings in like that kind of greyish area. That takes me to my first live when I felt like all I could see was like just my silhouette behind this grey. Okay. Lucy, I know I'm going to read now. Of course you can't give away what you don't have, but the logic of this seems to disappear when it comes to the most esteemed thing a person can ever give away, and that is love. My message to all of my children was a reoccurring theme in our household. You must first love yourself and be filled with love in order to be able to give it away. Once you are filled with that love and it is all that you have inside of you, then that is all that you will have to give away. The words offered in 1 John 4:16 so interesting, because when I was choosing these books, I looked at the Bible and I felt drawn to the Bible, but we're not. The words offered in 1 John 4:16 have long been the guiding principle in my life as a student, teacher, and parent. God is love, and who remains in love remains in God, and God remains in him. This is the essence behind all of the stories that Serena related in this chapter. God is love. What a sensational idea. God is not someone to fear. What is there to fear in pure, non-judgmental love? This to me is our mission here on earth, to become more like God. The means for arriving at this exalted place of divine love is to practice having love and respect for yourself. Practicing patience. That's what I felt, practicing patience. Okay. The means for arriving at this exalted place of divine love is to practice having love and respect for yourself. This is the reason I would not tolerate having hateful and judgmental thoughts come out of my children without challenging them to examine what they were keeping inside. If you have only love inside and a surely waitress, is that how you say that? Surely. A surly. And a surly waitress appears on your radar screen, that is precisely what you will have to give away. And by doing so, you will be an emissary of love. The highly revered spiritual teacher, St. John of the Cross, once observed, where there is no love, put love, and you will find love. By putting love in the presence of that impolite waitress, we were all able to see love do its magical work and convert anguish into love right on the spot. I would frequently cite that passage from the New Testament and ask, that's the actual book I looked at, the New Testament anyway, it's a red one, I've had it since school. I would frequently cite that passage from the New Testament and ask my children to interchange the words God and love, because we are told that God is love. I wanted Serena to know in her heart that in every moment that she was able to be in a feeling of love, she was literally acting as a host to God. That is, God is remaining in her in all moments of love. The way to come to this realization is to practice on a daily basis giving love away. In the famous prayer of St. Francis, he asks, where there is hatred, let me bring love. Or in interchanging the words, love and God, where there is hatred, let me bring God. This idea applies not only to love, but in all other areas of life as well. As I have said many times, there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. You must first have happiness lodged firmly within, and that is what you will bring to everything you do. What you keep inside you, I would tell my children, is what you will have to give away. And once you truly understand and practice this idea, then it will become your own personal habit. I have persistently encouraged them to bring to all of their endeavours what they would most like to receive. Bring kindness to every encounter, regardless of whether they were the recipient of kindness. Give away what they have inside, and it would be returned to them. It's the law of attraction, and it never sleeps or even takes a temporary holiday. You cannot find happiness by bringing unhappiness to your classes at school, or to your homework, or to your friendships. I tell them, you must decide to be filled with joy, and this is what you will bring to every encounter. This is what you will give away, and guess what? This is what you will see returning to you as well. But if you bring your own sadness to what you think of as a sad or unhappy occasion, you will simply be doubling the amount of negativity and then blaming the person or the nature of the event for your own discontent. This lesson, once mastered, is a major key to a lifetime of success and inner peace. Whew! Okay. Hey Moon Cookie, hey Lucy, happy to catch you live on my day off. Good evening to the channel of love, good evening. We're just having a little bit of an educational session. Goddesses Never Age is the next book. The Secret Prescription for Radiance, Vitality and Well-Being. Oh, I know that card there, thank you. Okay. I don't know what I want to say about this card. Because it's about your connection with spirit. Because there's no people in the card. Should we have a read and see what this, what the description here is? Normally, I would say it's lots of messages, lots of things happening. But I just felt there was just beaming down. We're going to be talking about the goddess now. And just all this light, just... Anyway, let's read this. Coming straight at her. That's a prescription for radiance, vitality and well-being. So your connection with spirit. Let's read this. The Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands represents putting ideas into action. This involves consolidated initiative, activity and effort. As compared to the lateral perspective in the Rider-Waite Tarot, I have used a more dramatic front view of the wands to indicate their flight and to emphasize the idea of motion. I can read the book, but I can read the back of the book. How old are you? 45. How old do you feel? 18. I just can't, it's not I can't accept the fact I'm 45, it's just like, how the hell did that happen? I mean, my kid's just turned 23. And she's just kind of amazed. She's like, how am I 23? I'm like, I don't know. How did I get you to 23? No, I've loved being a mum. I'm an awesome mum. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I do not feel 45 at all. Oh, how old are you? 45, 46 this year. I know. Oh, I was having this conversation with somebody the other day though. It was like, it was her birthday. I can't even remember how old she was. It's because it doesn't matter to me. That's why. It was, she was saying about, you know, about in her 50s. I said, do you feel that age then? She said, not inside, but my body does. And I think, oh no, my body feels very vibrant and active. And I would say I feel more energetic than what I did at 18. It's like, yeah, I don't feel old. I was reading the back of the book, yeah. We are programmed to expect an inevitable decline in our health, our looks, our sexual relationships, even the pleasure we take in living life. Yet, centenarians are the fastest growing segment of the population. What if we are just allowing our thoughts about how old we are to drag us towards old age? How different might our lives be if we replace the focus on numbers with a philosophy of agelessness or ageless living? This is what best-selling visionary Dr. Christiane, right, I don't think it's Christine, it's Christiane Northrup has done. Dr. Northrup, let's call her doctor, uses cutting-edge scientific research, personal stories, and practical exercises to show how our lives can change when we put aside our fear that we're going to fall or fall apart. We are long overdue for a paradigm shift in what we believe about growing older. She shows us how we can change our futures starting today by adopting a new, ageless attitude that will help women to flourish physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. She turns around conventional thinking to show us that in our later years we can expect vibrant good health, a fulfilling sex life, the ability to move our bodies with ease and pleasure, clarity and authenticity in all relationships, especially with ourselves. Goddesses Never Age is filled with tools and inspiration for bringing vitality and vibrancy into your own ageless years. And it all comes together in Dr. Northrup's 14-day Ageless Goddess program. Okay, your personal prescription for creating a healthful, soulful, joyful new way of being at any stage of life. I like the sound of that. I like the idea of that. That's what it is. I like the thought of that. Okay, sweet treats and blood sugar. Could be in trouble here. I like my sweet treats. Okay, I'm listening. From an evolutionary standpoint, a sweet tooth was a good adaptation we humans made to our environment. We are born preferring sweet tastes, and fruits and vegetables at the height of their ripeness and sweetness are packed with the highest amount of nutrients. Mother Nature puts plenty of sweetness in pumpkins and strawberries. Foods like these are naturally high in sugar, also have fibre, which slows down your body's absorption of their sugars. They're not going to spike your blood sugar levels the way refined sugars will, and by refined I mean any sugars that have been extracted from the fibrous fruit or vegetables. Well, I had some fruit earlier. Extremely yummy. Okay. And chances are you're probably not overeating pumpkins. You can have small amounts of real maple syrup and honey, but don't go overboard on those. If you do want a little bit of sweetener in your food, at least take the processed sugars off the table. You can use a bit of stevia, which is a natural and very sweet, so a little goes a long way. Avoid the sweeteners you can find in little packets at a diner. Refined sugar, white packet. I've got to pronounce these words now. Aspartame, blue packet. Saccharin, pink packet. And sugarlose, yellow packet. And absolutely avoid high fructose corn sugar, syrup, which manufacturers have put into all sorts of food. Read all labels and look for the sugar content. You'll be appalled at how much sugar is added to just about everything processed. I read the label of some organic squash soup sold at a health food store recently, and the amount of sugar in it shocked me. Sugar is as addictive as crack cocaine, so the compulsion to overeat it in any form is almost impossible to resist, and that includes so-called healthy foods like granola and trail mix. Okay, so I say that the message there is to find sugar within fruit and vegetables. Okay. Naturally. So we carry on talking about this. I feel like I don't actually want to talk about it, probably because I have quite a lot of sugar. But the meal I described at the beginning of the chapter had plenty of sweetness. The Honeycrisp apples, an especially sweet variety, and sweet potatoes without added sugars. Even that amount of sugar, though, will cause unhealthy blood sugar fluctuations in those who are no longer sensitive to their own insulin from years of unhealthy eating. If that's the case for you, remove all sugars. So, see, I feel like I'm quite adapted to the amount of sugar that I drink, consume. But I've been hearing a lot about people having like their bloods tested, so it's just the fact they whacked in that statement there. Even that amount of sugar, though, will cause unhealthy blood sugar fluctuations in those who are no longer sensitive to their own insulin from years of unhealthy eating. If that's the case for you, remove all sugars and sugar-producing foods from your diet for 7 to 10 days. One day every week or two, you can eat them. Reducing your consumption of these foods to this degree generally resets the insulin receptors, preventing type 2 diabetes and sometimes even reversing it. This is really important. Okay. So, if you're no longer sensitive to your own insulin from years of unhealthy eating, if that's the case for you, remove all sugars and sugar-producing foods from your diet for 7 to 10 days. One day every week or two, you can eat them. Reducing your consumption of these foods to this degree generally resets the insulin receptors, preventing type 2 diabetes and sometimes even reversing it. If you have an exhausted pancreas from the overproduction of insulin, you'll probably find that getting rid of the sugars, breads and pastas and getting enough protein will support your pancreas in keeping your blood sugars more stable. Maintaining stable blood sugar levels also prevents complications of diabetes such as neuropathy. And believe it or not, if you already have complications, it's never too late to start improving your health with dietary change. Even if you show no signs of diabetes, one of the most important things you can do is remain ageless is to keep your blood sugar levels from going haywire all day long. That requires avoiding sugars unless they're in whole fruits or vegetables. If your levels are fluctuating wildly during the day, you'll have high energy at some points and very low energy and difficulty concentrating at other points. Hang on, I need to pay attention now. I do find it difficult to pay attention, concentrating sometimes. High energy at some points and low energy at others. I do like my naps. Okay, maybe I need to take one of these little breaks from sugar, unless it's, oh no, altogether maybe. I'm not sure if I need to do that. Listen to me muttering to myself. I do take on board what I read. Okay. You'll also tend to crave cookies and candies, and if you make a habit of giving in and eating them, you'll only worsen the situation. Over time, uneven blood sugar levels and high sugar consumption cause cellular inflammation and insulin resistance, and those lead to diabetes, cancer, dementia and heart disease. In fact, sugar is more strongly associated with the development of type 2 diabetes than any other type of food, and it's even more strongly associated with it than a sedentary lifestyle is. Eating low glycemic foods is associated with lower rates of diabetes, whether or not you're sedentary or obese. Oh, I think I just actually want to stop there. I don't like focusing too much on like illness, but I'll take on board that. Can we read something else? An ageless smile. This sounds good. As a dentist's daughter, I know that you can tell the state of someone's health by looking in her mouth. Our teeth naturally fade from a white bright to a more ivory tone as we age, but it's possible to whiten teeth somewhat through peroxide treatments at home or at a dentist office. As you enter your ageless years, you might want to think about doing the dental procedures that will give you a better smile that you've put off because it felt frivolous to invest in your own beauty. Veneers, caps and whitening can all make you feel more confident as you smile. Whatever your age, good dental care prevents you from experiencing gingivitis that can lead to periodontal disease. Don't know what this one is. And tooth loss. It's important to stay on top of your dental hygiene because periodontal disease puts you at higher risk for heart disease and diabetes. The bacteria that build up in your mouth enter your bloodstream through your gums. I'm stopping. I know when to stop. It's like I'm just not, yeah. If you want to find out more, you can buy the book. I don't really quite like to focus on things like that because you just like, well, obviously, I've just listed a load of things that now I've put into your mind that if you wasn't aware of, that you... Anyway. We're putting that down for the moment. That's how I deal with that. Right, 46 minutes, 32 seconds. Like, it's kind of like it's enough to put a fear of disease into you, isn't it? Okay, right, better watch my sugar levels. And I mean, I will do. Okay. Now, this is interesting because that was a prime example of the feminines not really focusing on that. Just as in, like, I don't believe that I will, like, that I need to die of a disease. And it's not a joke around, although I do say it as, like, joking. I say to my children, I'm going to, like, just decide that one night, you know, this is it. I'm going to die tonight. And I always kind of say to them, like the old Indians would. I don't know whether that was the case, but it's like, no, why do we all just assume that we're going to die from a disease? And like, my level of life now was kind of like, it used to be I was going to live to like I'm 101 and like and 1 week, and the other day I was talking, I was like, oh no, I'm going to go to them 111 now. They was like, I thought it was only 101. I said, no, I've decided to extend it a bit longer. So there's this energy now where I don't really want to focus on that, but masculines would kind of take that stuff quite serious. And I feel that by looking after ourselves, divine feminines, it just makes the masculines happy. Because I say they're more warriors than warriors. Because I didn't mean to be rude to put that book down. I mean, I've actually given this to people that have been quite ill and said to them, I suggest that you read it. There's some really good advice in there about celery juice. But just what I've flicked through is quite, you know, do you want to think about tooth loss and gingivitis? So, and whether or not you're consuming too much sugar, I just trust that the divine guides me to what to drink. But I get that not everybody has that perspective or point of view. And just like to, like, we do need to look after our vessel. We're getting another card. Death. Takes bits like COVID. Got to be safe, got to play it safe, rather than just trusting that, well, for one, you can't prevent death. When it's your time, it's your time. And I just believe that all the time that I'm here to contribute and, you know, give love and joy and happiness and smile to the world, then why on earth would our Lord take me away? This is really interesting because I feel like I do want to, how can we delve into this a bit more to get you some, that's what I felt like, it was a fear of death being put into you. That will aid you alone, won't it? Fear. worry, stress. I'm not feeling drawn to any of them books. Where on earth would that come from? Did you just hear that? Boom. I was thinking about getting into the vortex. Maybe I should get that book. I'll get that book. Something just beeped over there. I feel like I've got a bit of a headache on this side here. Oh my goodness. I heard it again. Did you hear it again? I've got the book. Is it chatting to me? Okay, let's finish off with this book. Is there a chapter 13 in here or something? No. Chapter 8 comes to mind first of all. Is there chapter 8 in here? Not even sure that there is. 5. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing here. Let's we'll flick through. Now today I picked this up on today's reading twice. Sexuality. Connecting with your sexuality was mentioned, but we didn't really go into it too much. And when I thought I was coming back on, I thought, are we going to talk about sex? I think we might be, because it was just mentioned a couple of times today. And then it went on to speak about children, but it mentioned something about like connecting with about rules. What's good, what's bad. What is this list of rules that we don't actually come down with? But it says here, in short, as you often find thoughts about sexual interaction with your mate that feel good to you while you think them, you will be in alignment with the source within you and with your desires. Now, where did we read about changing your thought to something that makes you feel better, to raise yourself on the vibrational scale? So, in short, as you often find thoughts about sexual interaction with your mates that feel good to you while you think them, you will be in alignment with the source within you and with your desires. When you think about sexual interaction with your mate and you feel guilty or blameful or disappointed, you are not in alignment with your source or with your desires. When you think about sexual interaction with your mate and you feel eager or happy or sensual, you are in alignment with your source and with your desire. So over time, as you are able to focus upon the subject and remain in alignment with your source, the powerful law of attraction will find more and more compatible rendezvous points, and you will rediscover your early passion with your mate. It is possible that your mate could remain resistant to her own alignment, and if that is the case, then the law of attraction will bring you to another mate who matches the vibration that you have developed. However, once you are consistently holding your mate as your positive object of attention while you are in complete alignment with your inner being, it is much more likely that she will return to her natural alignment. Engaging in sexual interaction as inspired from connection with your inner being is a delicious physical experience, while engaging in sexual interaction out of a feeling of commitment or responsibility is not. Okay, so engaging in sexual interaction as inspired from connection with your inner being is a delicious physical experience, while engaging in sexual interaction out of a feeling of commitment or responsibility is not. In short, we'll end there because we started with in short. So in short, if you do not allow yourself to get into a feeling of shortage or lack because of something that another does, and you are able to maintain your alignment with the source within you, what you desire must come to you. And in this situation, where it is clear that this man cares about the feelings of his mate, his alignment will most likely inspire hers. So this conversation is not about, I should carry on a little bit more. So this conversation is not about how to get yourself into a position where you can get from another something that you desire. Instead, it is about how to align yourself with source regardless of what another is doing. And then by your own consistent alignment with source, you may inspire the alignment of your mate. And the byproduct of all of that alignment is, as the man discovered in the early days of his relationship, a desire to become one with the positive object of your attention. We're done. 56:22 on the clock. Hi Spotty Pony, how are you doing, darling? Okay, I'm going to go and see how my dinner's getting on, and I will catch up with you all soon. So until then, take care, much love.